Hi, good afternoon, everyone. This is Zach with Creatitive, and today will be my first solo video. We're going to kind of talk about on upcoming videos, sports related matters in the news today. We're also going to be talking about some marketing tips, sports marketing tips, tips for athletes, tips for athletic related companies and health related companies. For the most part, just trying to give you guys some insight on ways you can market yourself now on the overgrowing popularity of social media marketing, online marketing, digital marketing, web development, full service spectrum of the omni marketing. If you don't know, omni marketing is the approach of utilizing everything. So we'll start off today by talking about our first news article. So it comes out that Mike Tyson has been among one of the athletes asking to remove marijuana from the ban list. Now, if you all, if any of you have smoked marijuana, if you have not, I don't judge. A lot of people find it therapeutic, and with CBDs these days, it is definitely one of those things that can help athletes feel better. I myself have anxiety issues, and I could see the benefits. I use working out myself as my main way of trying to deal with stress, but I can see some other people kind of utilizing that. And from my aspect, the only reason marijuana would be considered illegal is player enhancement. Is it enhancing the player's performance on and off the field? From my aspect, I personally have known a few people through my life that have smoked marijuana before a workout because they say it enhances their performance. Me personally, though, I don't see it that way. I see it as quite the contrary. I don't feel that marijuana helps anything. So from the benefit of health, I could see how it could benefit healing injuries, helping numb injuries, especially if you're an athlete. If you're an athlete smoking marijuana, it could definitely help in that prospect. I could see it benefiting. I could go either way on this one. But for the most part, I feel like it's really up to the individual. I don't think that it should be something that's banned personally, but I also think it should be something that somehow is moderated. I do think it's a very risky move, especially with how DUI laws work these days and it's staying in your blood for a long period of time, not being able to restrict that. And I feel like it could definitely restrict athletes' brands just because it is such a conflicting argument back and forth on Twitter and on other social media platforms. I would suggest myself not posting anything about marijuana unless you have a really big passion for it, and if you are on the whole bandwagon of trying to push yourself towards becoming a CBD advocate, public speaker on how it helps. If you're planning on putting your niche towards that after you finish your athletic career, or towards some sort of business that's going to relate to you productizing those services, I would definitely put that into consideration. But if you're not, I may stay away from it, especially for the time being, depending on where you're at in your athletic career, or even as an athletic related business. I know that it's a touchy subject all around, so I may stick away from it. On that note, let's kind of go into the marketing tip of the day. So one thing that we really rely on here over at Creative is content. Content is a huge thing when it comes to building your online presence. And one thing that I try to push so with athletes and athletic related businesses is blog posting. Now, a lot of SEO and content writers may say blogging is dead. They may say that using blogs, it just takes a long time. Content takes a long time. But if done right, and if it's a focal of your business, then it actually can have a major effect on what you're doing in your everyday life. It's very underutilized when it comes to the athlete market. Now, when it comes to the sports market, blogging is one of their major things. They blog all the time when you go to ESPN.com, if you go to CBSSports.com. Blogging is a major way to kind of push up their authority on Google and on other websites. So it's not necessarily dead. It's just there's billions of blogs out there right now. If you think about how many people are out there getting a website, SEO really plays a huge part in it, and so does content. Now, if you are blogging, I would consider not spinning articles. If you're an athlete, there's a major thing you can do on this, and this is just a tip from us over here at Creative, that focus on building a strategy first. If it's social media, that's a different kind of content, but it's still content. Gain followers, use fresh content. Now, by that I mean you should have content writers, or if you are a writer yourself, write your blog post yourself, but you need to do tons of articles. I would say at least 4 to 8 a week would definitely help get you to a point. And always do keyword research. There's keyword research that you can utilize out there. I would consult an SEO expert on the best way to utilize those keywords. But as an athlete, if you are trying to get your brand out there, blogging is definitely something that's very underutilized. You could easily create a blog about you and your life, especially if you're still out in the game and you're playing in the game, because what it does is it brings your fans in. It lets them learn more about you from a more personal level, getting to know you better. And if you treat your athletic career as a business, what I tell every athlete is treat your athletic career as a business. Or if you're an athletic related company, you're already treating it as a business, but utilize the blogs in a way that go towards your demographic, but also are things that they relate to, their pain points. So for an athlete, for instance, you may talk about your everyday life and your struggles. That's unique content. A lot of fans would like to know about the player, and those are the kind of things that will surpass you from ESPN and Google and things of that nature. Now, having just fresh content is one thing, and that's probably the biggest attribute that you should be worrying about. But link building is also something that you can also kind of focus on. Though link building usually comes naturally, especially if you're an athlete. There are some sports sites out there that you can utilize. You can utilize your sponsors. If you have sponsors, now this is a good way to leverage your sponsors, telling them that you're going to write blog posts and you're going to introduce some sort of blog post within your website over their articles, or vice versa. If you have that ability, that's the best way to link build. And last is keyword density. Keywords are a major part in your Google ranking. Unfortunately, they are. And consulting an SEO expert and having an SEO expert that works very well with a content writer that understands SEO is always the way to go. So my word of advice is to definitely don't keyword spam, which keyword spamming is what you do when you basically go out there and you take a keyword. For instance, let's just say I'm trying to think of something off the top of my head here. Let's just say protein powder, for instance. That one's going to have really, really, really high competition. There's a lot of companies out there that use protein powder. But if your name and you're already leveraging your marketing and what you're doing with your business, your athlete business or your athletic business, and you're trying to grow in that realm, utilize your social media, find keywords specific to what people are searching for that might not have as much volume and less competition. That's probably the best route you could go, and then just keep doing it. Articles could go from anywhere between 400 and I say 2,000 words. More words the better. It's more effective, but you want something that's engaging with your clients. And in the long run, think about it as an investment. You're throwing all this content out here to kind of grow your website. Articles from 1, 2, 3 years are still going to be viewed on the web if you're doing it correctly and you're using it to target your market. And the best part about SEO and content is you are building something that's going to help you in the future. So if you're writing while you're still in the game, or you're kind of trying to build your brand that way, a couple years down the road when you're ready to say, hey, I'm going to take that leap and I want to open an athlete business, then I would say use that brand power, man. Use it to your advantage when you're out there on the field. That's free marketing for you. So tip of the day, content is king. So I'm not going to say everyone in the comments may say otherwise, but it is definitely one of the major parts that I'd really focus on when you're creating a website. So that's it for today. I would like to say again, this is my first video that I'm posting from a podcast perspective, from a personal perspective in my business. So I would like to kind of take a leg out here and kind of do a little experiment. So what I'm going to do here is, right now, the way YouTube and the way every, we'll say, business works that tries to push themselves digitally is, it takes time. It takes a lot of time. So I'm very curious. I want to see where I am a year from now. So I'm going to put it in my calendar for May 24th, 2020. If someone comes back to me, and I'm pretty sure, damn this, no one will come back to me and say anything on this, and they say, hey, I watched your first video and I remember you saying this on, I remember you saying this a year ago from now, I will give you some sort of gift. I'm not sure what it is yet. I'm not sure if it will be a jersey. I'm not sure if it will be some sort of sports memorabilia. I'm not sure if it will be from an athlete perspective, a free consultation. We can give you a free consultation as well. If that's anything like that is the case, then just come back to me and say something to me. I'm very curious to see if anything will say anything. But this is the first one, and I'm excited to have you guys all on board, and I'm excited to see where this goes over the next couple of years, few years. So again, thank you for your time.